They had a choice. That's the part most people don't like to hear. Because it's easier to believe this was fate. Easier to believe it was a glitch. Easier to believe it was just bad luck. But it wasn't. There was a moment, quiet, invisible to the public, when this flight could have been stopped. Not delayed. Not adjusted. Stopped. And in that moment, America looked at itself in the mirror and chose not to blink. This is not just the story of a plane. It's the story of a decision shaped by pride, pressure, and the fear of falling behind. Because in America, we don't just build airplanes. We build symbols. From the Wright brothers lifting off at Kitty Hawk, to jets crossing oceans in a single night, airplanes became proof of who we are. Innovation, strength, leadership. The sky wasn't just a place to fly. It was a promise. And this plane was supposed to be the next promise. First, everything about it sounded right. It was marketed as safer, smarter, more efficient. A plane that would save airlines millions. A plane that would keep ticket prices low. A plane that would protect jobs, protect markets, protect America's place at the top. Executives spoke with confidence. Investors applauded. Politicians smiled. Because progress in this country has always been sacred. We are taught that if we stop moving forward, we fall behind. If we hesitate, someone else wins. If we slow down, we lose our edge. And nobody wanted to be the one who slowed things down. But beneath the speeches and presentations, another story was unfolding. Quieter one. A story told in engineering meetings, internal memos, and late-night emails that never made the headlines. A story of concern. Not panic. Not chaos. Concern. Engineers noticed inconsistencies. Pilots reported behavior that didn't feel right. Simulators revealed moments where control felt different. Not broken. Just unfamiliar. And unfamiliar at 35,000 feet is dangerous. One of the most American beliefs is this. If something is wrong, someone will speak up. We trust systems. We trust checks and balances. We trust that responsibility rises to the top. But systems are run by people. And people live under pressure. Pressure to deliver. Pressure to compete. Pressure to meet deadlines set years earlier. Pressure to prove that American engineering was still untouchable. So when concerns appeared, they were managed, reframed, explained away, not because people were evil, but because stopping would mean something worse. Stopping would mean admitting the timeline was wrong. Stopping would mean airlines getting angry. Stopping would mean contracts questioned. Stopping would mean Wall Street watching closely. And Wall Street does not like uncertainty. So instead of stopping, they optimized. Instead of grounding, they adjusted. Instead of asking the hardest question, should this fly? They asked an easier one. Can we make this work? Inside the cockpit, pilots trust three things above all else. Their training, their instruments, their instincts. This plane asked them to trust something new, something invisible, a system designed to help, a system designed to correct, a system designed to intervene. It was meant to make flying safer, smoother, more predictable. But there was a catch. The system had authority, and it didn't ask for permission. Most pilots never received full training on it. Some were told it was minor. Others were told it would never activate unless absolutely necessary. And in aviation, words matter. Minor, rare, unlikely. Those words shape how a pilot reacts in a crisis. If you don't know a system exists, you don't fight it. If you don't know what it can do, you don't recognize it as the enemy. The passengers never knew any of this. They boarded the plane like they always did. Parents holding children's hands. Business travelers checking emails. Couples staring out the window as the engines came alive. To them, this was just another flight. That's the quiet contract of aviation. Passengers trust that everything invisible has already been handled. They trust that every bolt was checked, every line of code tested, every warning taken seriously. They trust America, and trust, once broken, is almost impossible to repair. There is a moment just after takeoff when a plane is most vulnerable. Low altitude, high workload, little room for error. That's when everything has to work together, human and machine. On this plane, something didn't. The system received bad information. Just a single sensor. Just one incorrect input. But the software believed it. And once it believed it, it acted. The nose pushed down. The pilots pulled up. The system pushed again. This wasn't a dramatic movie moment. No explosion. No warning to the passengers. Just confusion. Just seconds slipping away. Just two human beings fighting a machine they didn't fully understand. And gravity never negotiates. After the crash, America was stunned. How could a modern aircraft fail like this? How could trained pilots lose control? How could something so advanced end so simply? The answer wasn't found in one mistake. It was found in many small ones. A decision to minimize training. A decision to rely on software. A decision to trust a single sensor. A decision to move fast. Each decision made sense on its own. That's what makes this story so terrifying. No villain twirling a mustache. No single moment of madness. Just momentum. And momentum, once it builds, is hard to stop. Still, even after the first crash, the plane kept flying. That's the part that shakes people. Why didn't they stop everything immediately? Because by then, this wasn't just an airplane. It was a backbone. Hundreds of planes already delivered. Thousands more on order. Airlines built schedules around it. Pilots trained for it. Airports prepared for it. Entire economies depended on it staying in the air. Canceling it would ripple outward. Jobs lost, routes canceled, markets shaken. And in America, economic fear is powerful. So they reassured the public. They issued updates. They promised fixes. They said it was safe. They believed it was safe. Until it wasn't. This story forces an uncomfortable question. What happens when something becomes too important to fail? When stopping feels more dangerous than continuing? When admitting a mistake feels like surrender? America has faced this question before. In finance, in industry, in history. And every time, the cost is paid by people who had no vote in the decision. People who trusted. People who boarded the plane. This plane was not dangerous because of one flaw. It was dangerous because of what it represented. Speed over caution. Silence over honesty. Confidence over humility. It became dangerous the moment canceling it felt impossible. And that's where the story truly begins. Because the second crash was not an accident. It was a consequence. In the end, this was never just about an airplane. It was about a choice. A choice made far from the runway, far from the cockpit, far from the families who trusted that flight with their lives. America has always believed in building forward, in pushing limits, in refusing to fall behind. That belief built this nation, put us on the moon, connected coasts, cities, and generations. But progress without humility becomes arrogance, and innovation without accountability becomes danger. This plane didn't fail because Americans forgot how to build. It failed because, for a moment, we forgot how to listen. We stopped listening to engineers who felt something was wrong. We stopped listening to pilots who sensed something didn't behave as expected. We stopped listening to the quiet warnings that never make headlines. And when you stop listening, gravity always has the final word. The hardest truth is this. The most dangerous part of this story wasn't the software. It wasn't the sensor. It wasn't even the machine. It was the idea that stopping was not an option. Because when something becomes too big to pause, too expensive to question, too powerful to admit error, people pay the price. Families lose fathers. Mothers lose daughters. Children grow up with empty seats at the table. And no apology can ever fill that space. This story matters because it could happen again. Not just in aviation, but anywhere speed outruns responsibility. America doesn't fail when it admits mistakes. America fails when it refuses to see them. True strength isn't found in never stopping. It's found in knowing when to stop. Because sometimes the bravest decision, the most American decision, is not to take off at all.